It's a common misconception that drinking 8 glasses of water a day is enough for healthy hydration. But sweat consists of water and sodium, which means you need water plus electrolytes to stay properly hydrated. Thankfully, there are products like Element that have all your electrolyte needs covered. You can try Element Recharge Sample Pack by going to drinkelement.com/speak for only the cost of shipping.
Welcome to Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley here with Wiley Acho. Why you gonna wear purple today? Like, you never wear purple suits, and now all of a sudden you're gonna wear purple today.
You look very presidential. I hope your takes are just as formal.
Well, I look very clipperish right now. I hope my takes are better than how they playing right now. All right, let's get it started with the NBA playoffs. And Anthony Davis called last night's game a must-win, and the Lakers did just that against the Suns. AD bounced back with a game-high 34 points. Let's see, AD. LeBron James had 23 points, including the dagger three-pointer late in the fourth. Series is now tied at a game apiece, and it's going to be right here in L.A. Manana tomorrow. So, Acho, have the Lakers taken control of the series versus the Suns?
No.
Man, you threw me off with the purple suit. I knew you were going to say yes. What?
They've been in control of the series.
Oh, I didn't.
The Lakers have been in control. So we talked about this ad nauseum yesterday. You educated me on this matter. If y'all missed the show yesterday, it was phenomenal. Rewatch it on YouTube. But if not, you're going to catch today's version. Marcellus Wiley told me, he's told y'all before, I will tell y'all now. Floyd Mayweather, the great boxer, when he steps into the ring, the first thing he does is he throws a little straight right because he wants to understand how much of an impact is that straight right going to have on you. When he was fighting Manny Pacquiao, when he defeated Manny Pacquiao, the first punch he threw was that straight right. Let me gauge how much effort I'm going to have to put in to win this fight. That's what LeBron James and the Lakers did. Game one.
Oh.
They threw a straight right at the Phoenix Suns. And they said, okay, this isn't going to be enough to get it done. Now, they were still in control. They took an L, but LeBron James does this. I will say this throughout the course of the NBA playoffs. LeBron James works smarter, not harder.
Facts.
I encourage all of you all to consider the difference and maybe make the necessary change in your life. LeBron works smarter, not harder. So he said, how much energy is it going to take to beat the Suns? It's going to take more than we gave game one. Remember, the Lakers follow their fearless leader. We'll talk more on that later. The Lakers follow LeBron James. So after seeing game one, it's going to take a little bit more than that. Then what happens in game two? They give a little bit more than that. LeBron James didn't go crazy in game two. He only gave you 23 and 9. 23 points, 9 assists. It's not like he gave you 45, 15, and 5 like we've seen him do before. He only gave you 23 and 9, but he said, you know what? This is what it's going to take. AD, he understood it's going to take more than he gave in game one. AD backdoors, and he gives you 34, 10, and 7. Schroeder says, okay, it's going to take a lot more than I gave you in game one, and he had maybe his best game as a Laker, maybe his best playoff game.
I say that.
Drummond said, okay, it's going to take more than I gave in game one. Now, Drummond didn't do anything out of the ordinary.
Mr. Drummond?
He averages...
Now the world don't move.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
Peter, just one drum. Well, might be right for you.
I never knew that part. That's like LMNOP in the alphabet. I'm like, I always skip that part.
Don't take me to these different strokes, but I will say this. Andre Drummond and LeBron James and AD, they was giving different strokes last night because them buckets were going into deep basket. So I will say, big dog, the Lakers have been in control of this series. You told me one time, and I'll end my take here. You told me one time you were racing your son. I think MJ, 5 years old?
Yeah, 5. Fast.
Told me you were racing MJ 5 years old one time. And MJ, you were letting him beat you. Now, you were always in control of the race because you are more skilled than MJ. So at any point in time, you can step on the figurative accelerator and win that race because you're more skilled than he is 5 years old. But you were letting him beat you. Phoenix Suns versus LA Lakers. I will not say that they let the Suns beat them, but at any point in time, LeBron James and Anthony Davis can step on the gas, and just like you were in control of your race versus your son, the Lakers are in control of their race versus these Suns. Ooh.
Damn, neat. How they let you go from the 4 letters? How'd you even get here, boy? That was neat, well manicured like that suit, tailored. That was a tailored take right there. Hard for me to find some room.
But you're going to.
You know me. You know me. I'm confrontational, argumentative. I'm just going to get next to that tailored take and spit this at you. No, the Lakers have not taken control of this series versus the Suns. You're a former athlete. I'm a former athlete. Guess what control means? Mind over matter. We're not talking physical right here, because physically you got to go out there and earn it with your buckets, right? You got to play the games. I don't give a damn how much you're favored. I don't care what you're defending as a champion. On any given Sunday in our world, and in this Friday, you're going to have to go out there and take it. So let's respect what's going to happen there. We're talking mental. We're talking psychology. We're talking psyche. Let me tell you why they haven't taken control of this series. Because if I'm on the Phoenix Suns, the first thing I think of in terms of a life raft for my psyche is they ain't even took our biggest, baddest punch yet. They ain't took what we could throw at them. Chris Paul, one arm. Chris Paul, not playing well. Chris Paul, 7 minutes in the second half of game 2. You mean we beat them without Chris Paul, basically, and then giving them fits, giving them hell without Chris Paul. So think about it. Let's go to wrestling, something we probably never have done on this show. We always go to track. Let's go to wrestling. If I'm about to pin you, Acho, like if you keep coming back at me, I will, boy. But if I'm about to pin you, before I can take control of you, pin you like in real wrestling, I'm going to take your biggest, baddest punch. I'm going to take all Acho has. Now, if I overcome that moment and conquer, then I have control. Right now, the Phoenix Suns are sitting there saying, we fine. Yeah, we got to go to L.A. That's okay, because who's won more games in this series this year, Phoenix or the Lakers? They played each other 5 times. Lakers lost 3, won 2. Phoenix won 3, lost 2. So if you think about that in totality, until the Phoenix Suns have thrown their best punch and the Lakers ate that punch and said, come on, then you have not taken control of this series. Let me give you one specific, because I know that you're like, oh, that was a good psychology take, but get real. Suns got 29 points from their bench in game 1, only 19 points off the bench in game 2. What does that matter? Let's talk about the players. Let's talk about Jay Crowder in particular. Jay Crowder, last time I checked, you were a 3-and-D dude. We're just going to call you a D dude right now, because that 3 is not falling. In this series, he's 1 for 13, 8%. He's 39% for the season. Law of averages, your favorite take in the world. Jay Crowder, sooner or later, other than that one lucky he got fouled on by headband man three-pointer, he has not made a three-pointer this entire series. Those will start to fall. Chris Paul, whatever's going on with the stinger to the shoulder bone, something's going to give where he's going to be back and have impact. All of that adds up. No control yet. We're going to see how this plays out.
Here is the marginal pushback I will give, but it may end up being maximal. You said that the Lakers have not taken the Suns' best punch.
Yep.
If you're the Suns, Sel, what more can you do? Devin Booker done dropped 34.
What can you do? Have Chris Paul play.
Devin Booker gave you 34 and gave you 31.
Beast.
DeAndre Ayton gave you 21 and 16, then he gave you 22 and 16. Okay. DeAndre Ayton is currently 21 of 24 from the field. Okay. That's better than AD is from a free throw line. And he's that from the field.
That's who he is,
With that being said, I don't know if the Suns have a better punch that they're capable of throwing. If Chris Paul was healthy, I'm with you. But you played the game of football. What's the best thing about the game of football? Most times, we have 7 days between games. You get you a stinger, you got 7 days to recover. Even in 7 days, you still probably won't be right, but at least you'll be able to play.
Yeah.
In 7 days, this series might be over. Chris Paul got to come to L.A. today because they play tomorrow. Yeah. By the time this show's over, they're about to be 26 hours from game time. So I don't know that Chris Paul's going to have the ample time to recover from said stinger. And without Chris Paul, this Phoenix Suns team is the same Phoenix Suns team they were last year. Capable of winning. Went 8-0 in the bubble, but are they capable of actually dominating a really good Lakers team? I think the Suns have thrown their best punch. DeAndre Ayton over the course of 2 games, 43 points and, 32 rebounds? It ain't going to get much better than that. Devin Booker over the course of 2 games, 64 points, 65 points. Excuse me. Is it going to get much better than that? Chris Paul, is he going to get much healthier than he is right now? And furthermore, let's make no mistake about it. KCP is 1 of 11 from 3. KCP gave you no points in 31 minutes. Alex Caruso, I believe, gave you 4 points. I ain't even got the box score in front of me. I'm going off the top of my head. Kyle Kuzma did not give you much at all. 4 players on the Lakers. 4 players on the Lakers gave you 96 points. The other 7 players that played gave you 13. Realistically speaking, only 4 players contributed to the Lakers last night. 4 players gave you 96. So if you get something from KCP, because we also, if we going to assume that Crowder's not going to go over from 3, we're going to assume KCP is not going to continue his 1 of 11 trajectory. We're going to assume Kuzma's going to give you at least double digits. We're going to assume that more than 4 players for the Lakers are actually going to contribute to meaningful basketball.
Real selfish take right there. I mean, you just got locked into how you felt and just said everything you was feeling. Here's the problem. You keep talking about, well, only 4 players really contributed for the Lakers. How about, if you want to look at it in terms of plus and minus, only 3 players had a positive plus minus for the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker gonna get buckets. Are you trying to tell me that Devin Booker ain't gonna get his 34, his 31, something in that range?
That's his best punch, though.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But that's not all the power behind that punch.
Okay.
Yes. Well, let's talk about DeAndre Ayton. Yeah. We've only seen him 2 times in the playoffs in history. I think we start to buy into maybe he's just a playoff performer as well. He's already a beast, but he might go to the next level when it comes to the playoffs. We have no evidence to the contrary right now. Let's talk about Chris Paul. It's funny. Let's go to the boxing because you brought it up with Floyd. To throw the hardest punch, I used to train Wild Card, Jim, Freddie Roach, and all them. I come in as a football player, big, strong, muscles. I think that the hardest punch is when I say, boom, and then Freddie would grab me and say, let's start down here. Start right here, right?
Torque.
You know who the hips of this team is? You know what the base of this team is? Chris Paul.
Yes, sir.
So even though we're going to see Ayton, we're going to sit there, right? We're going to sit there and say Devin Booker. Where it's coming from, the real power, why they are now a playoff team versus last year they weren't a playoff team, the base, and the base is gone right now. They're just trying to throw punches up top with Ayton and Booker. Not enough. Jay Crowder, you can help. You're closer to the core of this team. Chris Paul getting healthy or at least fighting through the pain would help them. Let me give you another stat right here. 4 offensive rebounds, game 2, 16 in game 1. Somewhere in between there would obviously change the outcome for them. But you want to give me Anthony Davis. And this is 2-part. One, DeAndre Ayton is DeAndre Eaton off of Anthony Davis in part because he can play well against Anthony Davis. Kind of similar players in a lot of respects, and he's just not intimidated by Anthony Davis. But here's the thing about Anthony Davis, and I talked about it yesterday, and it's going to prove true when they play again. Inconsistency, especially coming back from the injury. Playoff Anthony Davis and inconsistent Anthony Davis. We saw him go out there, what did he have yesterday? 30-something? 34. You know, there's only been 2 times Anthony Davis has had back-to-back games of 30 or more. You try to tell me that Anthony Davis is going to come home and everything's going to be lit up because he's going to be at home. First of all, Staples Center is only 25% capacity. When you talk about them playing over there in Phoenix, 11,000 fans, 60% capacity. Staples, Laker games are already boring. Dun, dun, dun. Here's your Los Angeles Lakers. Dun, dun, dun. Old people, mother's pearls in the front row, everybody on their phones, selfies everywhere. It's already a low-energy crowd. Now it's at 25% capacity. No real advantage there. And the fact that Anthony Davis may be inconsistent, as he's shown over his resume this year, I see the Phoenix Suns still saying we got a fighting chance as long as we get CP3 to give us our base.
But here's what it comes down to. The Phoenix Suns having a fighting chance is contingent upon CP3. But remember, LeBron James, first game, I told you, he just threw that punch. Let me see what it's going to take.
On purpose?
The issue is this.
You don't believe that.
If CP3 would have done the same, the Suns probably wouldn't have been in this position. CP3 gave all he had in the first game.
Well,
what happened in the second game? I ain't really got it no more. We about to see what's going to happen in the third game. Whereas LeBron James, he's pacing himself. I told y'all this analogy in story form yesterday. When you are the leader of a team, any sport, during conditioning drills, your coach always wants you to come in first. The wise senior leader, whose coach wants him to come in first, he runs hard the first rep, but not too hard, because he understands there are reps that are going to follow. LeBron James ran hard the first rep, game 1, but not too hard, because he understood there are reps in games that are going to follow. CP3, on the other hand, he went all out. Yeah, he won the first rep, but he's not available for the games that are going to follow.
But he didn't get hurt in the pursuit of trying to win it all. He got hurt just because that's what happens when you play sports.
Yes, but you do have to wonder,
on, man.
If CP3 would have been like, you know what? Hey, let me play the long game. Because how much more damage did he do? You know what the Stinger's talking about. I had a Stinger one. It's terrible. My sophomore year, spring game. Oh, all bad. You wonder how much more damage did he do by continuing to play in that game as opposed to chilling and saying, you know what? It's going to be a long series, big dog. Because did that one win cost him other wins? That's the question. Because you're right, and that's a beautiful take. Chris Paul is the base, if you will, of that team. Devin Booker gives you the glitz and the glamour. DeAndre Ayton gives you the dirty work. But Chris Paul is the glue that makes it all go together. You can't tell me that the Suns' success is contingent upon Chris Paul's health, because if Chris Paul is not healthy, then the Lakers are in full control of this series.
Oh, my goodness. This game was in contention still, right? 109, 102. No, like, you wasn't sitting there just exhaling, right? Okay. And that's without Chris Paul. With Chris Paul, they beat him. Okay, let's talk about this. The risk-reward, cost-benefit analysis we always talk about. if I'm Chris Paul, I got to go hard game one. Why? I got to get this thing to snowball. I got to get this young group that hasn't been in the playoffs confidence, correct? Game two, I think it was coach's decision. Monty was basically like, Chris, I'm playing a long game. We may beat them today. We may not, but we may lose you if we try and beat them, especially if we lose. It may be over. This is an interesting one because I don't know. I really thought Chris had a stinger. Now I hear stinger to shoulder, and I don't know how compromised he is. But knowing Chris Paul, the competitor, knowing Chris Paul, the person, the dog in him, for him to sit there for he played 7 minutes in the second half, something is really wrong with Chris Paul. But how do they come out here against the Lakers in game three? LeBron James, I think you were buying into LeBron James could always hit the accelerator. Against this squad right now, 18 to 23 points, LeBron James' effectiveness, the way I'm seeing it, I think he's closer to maxing out than not. I don't see how this team could get better other than KCP playing better. But Jay Crowder and Chris Paul gives me reason for hope.
What do you think about this, though? The fact of the matter is the Phoenix Suns were up 90 to 89 with 5.5 minutes left. The Lakers go on to outscore the Suns. I believe it was 20 to 12. AD and LeBron combined for 16 of those 20 points. AD had 11, LeBron had 5. AD had 11 of his 34, LeBron had 5 of his 23 in the last 5.5 minutes. Maybe they didn't hit the accelerator. But at least the stats show 5.5 minutes left. We're down by 1. Game is on the line. Series is on the line because if we go down 0-2, it's no good. LeBron and AD have something left in the tank and more in the tank than the Suns had. It's just very reminiscent to me, Sel, of when the coach blows a whistle, 1 rep left. And the veterans on the squad realize, you know what? We still got juice in the tank. And that one rookie, that freshman who gave it all in game 1 and rep 1 is like, and the seniors just sitting there just cruising through the finish line like the Lakers did.
Ooh, that's your take. I want you to get all your money, all your royalties. But can I co-produce on that a little bit? Can I get some of that publishing, homeboy? Let me lay down a track for that take. I don't think it's about do you have something left as a veteran. I learned this from track. I learned this from being the senior on the team or the veteran leader, that it's about technique. Like, through adversity, the ones that can hone in on fundamentals are the ones that's going to win, like the tortoise versus the hare, right? It ain't so much I'm faster than you. Ain't so much I'm even in better shape. And running the 400, everybody tired at the 300 mark. Everybody done. But who's the one that could just, I got to stay like this versus, nah, forget that. I'm about to finish. I got to finish. Phoenix, like you said, 5 minutes to go, I saw it. I was like, oh, they going to lose out because they don't have championship technique. They don't have championship fundamentals. AD and Bron said, lock in. And Phoenix was like, let's do this. And they just got out of their own technique. We'll see. CP3, if he were on that floor, he would have grabbed them boys. I don't know how because he ain't got no championship rings, but he still would have grabbed them with championship technique and said, relax. That last 100 going to run itself. Just stay smooth through the race. There's drama in Green Bay, but Aaron Rodgers has been chilling in Hawaii. Speaking of being smooth, we'll tell you if it would be a mistake for the Packers to keep their general manager over their quarterback. But first, Clippers, we dug ourselves a deep hole against the Mavericks. Like Dig Dug, my favorite game. We'll tell you if their series is over. Next, don't speak for yourself.
Last night was a rough one for Marcellus, boy. Oh, boy. His Clippers, they down 0-2 after losing again to the Mavericks. Now Luka Doncic stayed hot with 39 points. Kawhi Leonard and PG combined for nearly 70. But it was not enough. PG does not seem to be bothered, though, by the 0-2 hole. Y'all take a listen.
What's your level of concern right now going down 0-2?
I mean, there is none. You know, there is a competition. We got to rise to the occasion. You know, fact of the matter is, if we don't, we're done for. But there's no level of concern. I mean, we just got to play our game. We got to play through this.
Joined by NBA analyst Rick the Bucher. But Marcellus, you up first because it's time for you to defend your squad. Is the Clipper series over?
I want to defend them dudes. They can't defend Luka. Why the hell I got to defend them? Okay. Woo! All right, y'all know me, man. I got to keep it 100. Hey, Paul, PG, let me talk to you, homeboy. There's some levels of concern here. We got some real issues right here. So every time I'm in the building, and especially when I was growing up, I had in our apartment building, we had this little fire extinguisher. And it said, I remember being a little kid, 7 years old or something, in case of emergency, break glass. And every day I would walk home like, it ain't no emergency, but damn, I want to just break that glass. But then I was like, I don't even know how to work a fire extinguisher. It's a little more complicated than y'all think. You got to pull the pin out and get all that stuff. So anyway, so I'm sitting there like, damn, I want to break this glass, but there's no emergency. Well, PG, right now my Clippers down 0-2 and we got to go to Dallas. I'm about to break that glass because this is an emergency. What the hell is going on with us switching, allowing Luka Doncic to pick Pat Beverly, our best little defender, or pick Reggie Jackson and say, come here, come here. Overwrite junior high school layup drills. Every single damn time he is taking them to the basket. Okay. So now we got to come out with a reconfiguration. We're going to have to just switch up our lineup. They are going power because we're trying to go speed, finesse, and quickness. Okay. We know that they're going to counter, but we need to go big. We need to go out there and show our power because we do have some great defenders. But unfortunately, when we see PB or we see Reggie Jackson out there, Luka is licking his chops. Let me say this about our situation right now because, you know me, Clippers fan, I'm always going to root no matter what. I'm not defeated right now, but my energy, it's actually beat up. It's actually like, yo, I think this is over because I'm a fact man. I'm looking at these nuggets that tell me of 318 different series where teams have gone down 0-2. I don't even want to read this. Only 21 have won. Y'all can't do math, me either. 6.6%. So we got a 6.6% chance, and I'm not going to tell you what it really is. 666. Oh, damn, the devil. It's over. It's over. Basically, we got a 666 devil's chance of winning this series. But I'm rooting, but it ain't looking pretty.
Oh, man, when you need the devil's advocate, where is he? It's over, big dog.
Oh!
But it's been over, Sel. And here's when I knew it was over. Slick Rick, you're going to like this one.
Lord.
After game one, the Mavericks had lost, and Mavericks had won. The Clippers had lost after game one. And Marcellus came to me, and he said, you know, I was talking to my dog, Richard Jefferson, after the game. And Richard Jefferson, myself, some of the players, they all told me this, Acho. You know, and they're astute basketball analysts, you know, unlike yourself. And they all told me this, Acho. They said the Mavericks, they was just hitting too many shots. And as soon as the real game comes around, game two, it's going to be y'all Clippers, baby. I sat there, I nodded. You know, I'm humble at times. I sat there, I nodded. And Slick Rick, I thought to myself, if you ever have to bank on someone else's failure for you to succeed, that's not true success. That's when I knew the series was over. Marcellus, Richard Jefferson, none of the likes said, oh, the Clippers, they going to be in their bag. They're going to improve X, Y, and Z. No. The ideology for the Clippers after game one was, the Mavs are just going to get worse. Imagine going to a race against Usain Bolt and saying, well, Usain is just going to stumble out the blocks. Imagine going to a game against Tom Brady and saying, well, Tom Brady is just going to happen to get hurt. Imagine going into a game against the Dallas Mavericks, who shot 47% from three after game one, and saying, oh, they're just going to get worse. What if they don't? Because game two, they shot 53% from three. What if they don't? So I knew the series was over officially after game one when Clippers fans and NBA analysts, their ideology for the Clippers winning wasn't that the Clippers were going to improve, but very simply, the Mavericks are going to get worse. Well, Luka ain't getting no worse. Tim Hardaway Jr. ain't getting no worse. Finney Smith ain't getting no worse. Nobody got worse. The Mavericks are just a better team, playing better, and they going to get better. Series over.
That wasn't my ideology coming out of game one. I thought the Clippers, having shot 41%, best in the league all year from three, were going to shoot better in game two, and that would be the difference because that game one was there for the taking right to the final minutes. So that wasn't my ideology. And so having said that, going into game two, I would have said, no, this is not over. In fact, even after game two, I would have said, this isn't over. Until I heard Paul George speak. Now I know it's over. Because number one, I heard Paul George speak. I don't need to hear from the assistant at this point. I need to hear from the leader. And I certainly don't need to hear that you're down 0-2. And as Marcellus aptly pointed out, the percentages there,
Sure.
there's no concern.
Yeah.
When are you going to get concerned? Never mind winning this series. I thought it was all about winning a championship. So the mentality there, look, this has always been the question that we've had with the Clippers. The soft underbelly mentality that we even heard from PG last year after the fact that, well, I didn't expect us to win a championship this year anyway. What? That's the mindset going in here? And if we don't rise to the occasion, then we're going to lose. If we don't rise to the occasion, that allows the possibility and the belief that there's a chance we might not rise to the occasion. Championship teams, teams that win series, teams that live up to their abilities have none of that thinking and none of that leadership. And it really points to where you can look on paper, you can look at the percentages, as I have, and I've said, Clippers have everything they need. They can do everything they need to do. So why don't they do it? Because there's no concern. There's no worry that if they don't, they're not going to get the prize that they're after.
Damn, it's hard to cook with no fire. Slick, you broke that down right there. And I still am rooting. I still believe, but I do feel a little John Coffey up here, a little Green Mile, like I'm walking to my death. Like, damn it. Oh, yeah, it's over. But it's not over. And Paul George, you didn't give me much to be encouraged about because I hate when people gotta lie. Like, it's okay to address, yo, I'm concerned. Oh, yeah, this is a problem. But we still can overcome this adversity, overcome this problem. So I'm gonna go on record and still say it. Clippers in 6. We know this. I mean, Clippers are still gonna win this damn series. Let me tell you how they're gonna win this series. Right now, we're looking at Kawhi Leonard down 2-0. I wonder
God
when the
bless
last
you,
time...
Marcellus. That's all I can say is God
You
bless
ready?
you.
I wonder when the last time Kawhi Leonard was down 0-2 in a series. Oh, was that with the Raptors? What happened? He came back and won 4-2 that series. Raptors in 6, Clippers in 6. Stop it, because no one predicted that Toronto team to be as good as they are. Let me tell you why else, because I'm not going to root for Dallas to fail. I'm just rooting for Dallas to beat Dallas. Right now, I don't know what the hell they are. And I don't know where you're going. What you climbing right now, Slick Rick? I know I am. But let me keep reaching,
I'm climbing whatever you're climbing, brother. I'm holding on to that same rope.
Hey, I told him to give me the extra baggy suit today because I needed the room to reach. Let me keep it going. Mavericks 18th in the league in three-point percentage, right? What they shooting right now in this series? 50%. I'm not rooting for the downfall, but sooner or later, they're going to come back down to planet Earth. So if you look at this, the Mavs haven't had 3 straight games of shooting over 45%. You think they're going to go home and do it again? Ooh, that's not what Vegas would bet on. I look at it all around. We've underperformed, and that's okay because down 0-2, we've seen the leader of our team climb out of that hole before, and we're going to need him to do it again. If not, John Coffey about to get lit up.
Sal, I know you've been in a situation during your playing days where you gave somebody your best speed to power bull rush. Now, Slick Rick, speed to power bull rush, you take about 3 hard steps up the field, you plan on that outside leg, you come in either with 1 long arm into the chest, or you take 2, you headbutt and you button press. That's just your standard speed to power bull rush. But I noticed Marcellus has once upon a time come with his best speed to power bull rush, and the offensive lineman just sat there like this. Straight face.
Do you want the story?
Straight face. Just didn't even flinch. Marcellus gave his best punch of power, and the offensive lineman just didn't. Is that all you got? That's what happened with the Clippers last night. Kawhi Leonard, 30 points in the first half. He gave his best speed to power, outside leg, long arm, and the Mavs were looking down 71-73. Like, that's it. That's all you got. 30 points. That's the second most points you've ever scored in your career.
I don't honestly believe that because offensively, maybe they gave them their best shot. But defensively, they did not by any stretch.
Slick,
they have been the master of the first effort.
Here's why I know, Slick, because at this point in time, you can look at a 12-game sample size. You can go back from the Clippers versus Luka in the playoffs last year, all through the regular season this year, to the games right now. Or we can just look at the playoffs, Slick. Luka versus the Clippers, 42-28. He got hurt. 43, 22, 38, 31, 39. Eventually, we have to concede to the fact that the Clippers are just not as good defensively against this Dallas Mavericks team as we believe. Styles make fights, and it's not a great stylistic matchup versus these Dallas Mavericks.
No,
at least not versus Luka.
Well, and that's the point. Are they going to stop Luka? No. Luka is going to get his. But you can't tell me that the complementary players of this Clippers team cannot shut down the complementary players of the Dallas Mavericks. And I only wish that the Clippers had someone like Marcellus in their locker room playing on that team that would create the belief that, look, this is how we get it done. I don't care what we've done. I don't care what the numbers say. This is how we're going to get it done. And I am not hearing that from anyone. That is my great concern. So, look, this is just the sad aspect of where the Clippers are, in that Kawhi Leonard needs to be your leader. He needs to step up defensively and say, I've got this, because he is the most accomplished defensive player. Having Paul George and Pat Bev switch off on Luka Doncic, the message it sends is, we're going to find a way to get by, but I'm not going to do everything I possibly can to impact this team.
Can we establish, please?
And without it, you're not going to get past the Dallas
Can we
Mavericks.
establish, please, that Kawhi is not the defender we believe him to be?
Oh, no, we ain't going to do that on here.
Against Luka.
No.
Even when Kawhi was against Luka, and I rewatched it this morning to make sure it was fresh.
How do we know? He never takes that assignment.
He tried, and Luka still gave him buckets, went 3 for 7, hit 2 threes, and hit a field goal in his eye. Moving off from his right to his left foot in his eye. Both them cuticles, corneas, whatever they are.
Cuticles.
We got to stop making these assumptions. Oh, if you just put Kawhi on. Marcellus said it yesterday. And don't worry, I got the tape. Marcellus said it yesterday. Just put Kawhi on him and you gonna hold him to under 23 points.
I said the whole game.
They put Kawhi on him and Kawhi still got
I'm not suggesting
buckets.
that. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting that Kawhi Leonard would lock down Luka Doncic. What I'm talking about, and I've been talking about since the beginning of this segment, is the message being sent. The urgency, first of all, we're not hearing urgency. There's no concern. And we're hearing it from the assistant. 2, Kawhi Leonard taking on Luka Doncic doesn't mean he's going to stop Luka Doncic. It sends the message to the rest of the team, we are going to do everything possible. I am going to do everything possible to win this series. I am going to do the dirty work. I'm not going to worry about scoring. We need to slow down the Dallas Mavericks. The scoring will take care of itself. And what I saw in Game 1 and I saw in Game 2 was they were hanging around in both games. We can get our shots. We can score when we want. We can drive to the cup and finish. We'll win. We'll have more firepower. And they weren't doing the dirty work at the other end. And my biggest problem is that if it takes you 2 games in order to sound the alarm and say we have to do the dirty work, then at some point you're going to win a game or 2 and you're going to kick back again and say, okay, did we do the dirty work? Are we good? And that's how you end up losing a series to a team that is not as talented as you are.
Man, damn. I got a list of 5, 6 quick nuggets. Slick Rick, you really impressed me on this one because you went to the core of the issue. It's just we don't have enough fire to really light up what we need to cook. It's just that simple. My first issue is Tim Hardaway Sr. for having that damn son. Just can't miss a damn shot right now. Tim Hardaway Jr., salute. Good Lord. Keep it up, but I don't know if you can. We'll see, because I'm a Clipper lover. 2, only one other player was in double figures, and that's Reggie Jackson, who becomes a liability when Luka says, hey, come here, Reggie, defend me. That's not going to happen as well. We got to figure that out in terms of lineup. 3, 5 of the top 7 scorers in this series are on the Dallas Mavericks. We can't have that. 4, what you talked about, Slick, Kawhi. He's a lead by example type. And I'm not going to slight Kawhi because of his personality, but then that makes us, by default, have to look at Paul George. Paul George, you got to stop lying. Like, you can't talk to the masses and talk to the group without authenticity. If you come up there saying, we ain't concerned, I'm sitting in there in the back of the locker room like, boy, I don't know what he's talking about. I am concerned as hell. 5, Acho, I need to see you on screen because you called me out. Speed to power, Walter Jones, Seattle. Oh, my God. Walter Jones is the best offensive lineman that ever existed. Okay, I tried to do my speed to power. He giggled at it. Like, he didn't move at all. Matt Hasselbeck sitting back there building real estate and portfolios and stuff, not getting touched. So then I said, I'm going to sucker him. Speed to power, inside move instead of just go through the bull rush. I did it, and I beat him. Acho, you know what happened? I beat him, turned him around in a full revolution. He's so damn fast and strong, still recovered, pushed me off, and I ain't getting nothing but dirt naps. Oh, my God, Mo. Salute Walter Jones. Clips in 6. Staying in the NBA, Wizards 76ers Game 2 is featured on the free-to-play Fox Bet Super 6 app. Download the app and answer 6 questions about tonight's game for your shot to win $1,000. Coming up, Trey Lance is already making a good impression. We'll tell you how Jimmy G should feel about Kyle Shanahan praising the rookie. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Kawhi did it before. Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance are both at OTAs for the 49ers. Jimmy G said it, quote, took a while to process everything when the Niners drafted Lance, but he better process it quickly since the rookie is already getting praised. George Kittle said Lance, quote, looks a little better than a rookie quarterback. Kyle Shanahan took the praise even further. Listen to this.
Being with him these last 2 weeks, he's been everything that we hoped and more. I think he's a very smart kid. He's a very humble kid. I think he's a very natural leader. I think the guys have gravitated to him, and it's been fun to throw a lot at him. You know, you do it for 2 days in rookie mini camp, and to watch him just take it all in. I mean, from how he calls a play in the huddle to how he takes a snap under center to how he stands in shotgun to how he does everything, it's new. We're asking him to do something different, and to just absorb all that in. And to still handle yourself the right way, to me, that is impressive. And that's what I've expected from him and haven't been disappointed in that.
Acho, how should Jimmy G feel about Kyle Shanahan's praise of Trey Lance?
1, not surprised, and 2, that his days are numbered. I think it's there's a quote, that which I feared the most has befallen me. That which Jimmy G feared the most is about to befall him.
You mean BSing me, but go ahead, befalling me. Okay.
Big dog, it's simple, man. It's like, you already knew what time it was when they traded 2 first-round picks and moved up with their other first-round pick to draft a quarterback at the number 3 position. That's why these words shouldn't shock you. They don't shock me. Think about who the 49ers have drafted in their last 2 first rounds. Nick Bosa, probably the best pass rusher under the age of 25, and Brandon Ayuk, one of their best offensive receiving threats. And they also gave up 2 first-rounders in a 3rd round. Think about who they drafted in the 3rd round just 3 drafts ago, 2018. Maybe it was 4 drafts ago. Fred Warner, first-team All-Pro linebacker, just rated the 2nd-best linebacker in the game to Bobby Wagner. So knowing what the 49ers can acquire with their draft picks, they still sacrificed that to get Trey Lance. Jimmy G, you knew what it was, big dog, but now you got to hear it. Like, now you got to hear your coach salivate over this young whippersnapper. You got to hear your coach just sit there and sing his praises. I think Jimmy G's worst fears are truly coming to fruition. It was one thing when you saw the action of them drafting Trey Lance. It's a whole nother thing now hearing the words.
Yeah, I mean, look, the writing's on the wall, and all Kyle Shanahan doing right now is just reading the script, and we get it. But I'm upset at you, and I'm upset at Kyle Shanahan as well, but I don't like him like I like you, so I'm going to talk to you first. Talking about it's not shocking. You've been desensitized, my brother, because this is shocking. That, damn, y'all gave up all that to go get Trey Lance. I don't care about that as much as I care about we are on air. He went to rookie minicamp and 2 days of OTAs, and that's how glowingly you talk about him? Has he even had a taste of the NFL yet? Has he had young Wiley get after his ass a couple times around the corner? He has not tasted one drop of the NFL. But, oh, my God, the way that he is out there commanding people. This is when I knew he was pouring too much damn syrup on these pancakes. He went out there and said guys have gravitated to him. Last time I checked, the only dudes that we gravitate to are the ballers, proven guys. Other than that, you just could be a comic in that locker room. You could be funny, have a great personality. Yeah, we're going to be around you when you're telling them jokes, but gravitate towards? I don't know. That to me feels a little more than normal. It sounds like propaganda. And I know it starts off with P-R-O, but it's propaganda. He is out there basically saying, look, we drafted him high. We know we're going to play him, we know we're going to insert him. We know we're going to hijack Jimmy G. So let me do this for the proper reception, not only of our players, but more importantly, our fan base. Because when we switcheroo this, I want y'all to be like, oh, I've heard nothing but great things about him. And I'm not rooting against Trey Lance to the little bit. But you know what? Part of me is saying, let's see this not work out, because I want to see if Kyle Shanahan was telling the truth all the time. Because it just sounds like an unproven rookie who has thrown the fewest attempts at a D1 AA school in day 4 just got the most complex system. Shut up. You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie, Kyle Shanahan. I've been there before. Got to bring in Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks. So, Bucky, how should Jimmy G feel about Kyle Shanahan snaking him for Trey Lance?
He shouldn't have any feelings about this, because this isn't even about Trey Lance. I think if you're Jimmy Garoppolo, I think you got to go back, and since we love quotes, he has to take this quote and let it really be embedded in his mind. Be so good, they can't ignore you. Steve Martin said that. He told that to Young Comets. Because ultimately, Jimmy Garoppolo is in control of this situation. He has to control the controllable. And there's 2 things that he can control: his preparation and his performance. The reason why the 49ers want to move on for Jimmy Garoppolo, we've heard John Lynch said, we've heard Kyle Shanahan said, he plays really well when he's available. He hasn't been available. Missed 23 games. So the injuries have been a thing. So what has Jimmy Garoppolo done this offseason? He's added some weight. He's tried to make himself better prepared to deal with the rigors of the position. Then the other part of it is the performance, knowing the playbook, knowing exactly what's asked of him. Because we can say a lot of things about Jimmy Garoppolo, but he went 22-8 as a starter. As long as Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't give them a reason for them to go to Trey Lance, he'll be the starting quarterback. He has to control the part that he controls, be so good they can't ignore him and they won't replace him. He does that, he has nothing to worry about.
It's a wrap, Bucky Brooks. All that stuff sounded good, and that was phenomenal coaching jargon. I'm not at all mad at the phenomenal coaching jargon. I just think that it's irrelevant in this situation. Bucky, Jimmy G should feel used.
Ooh.
You know when you end up in one of those relationships or friendships that you know is going to expire. You're still friend by happenstance. Y'all knew each other back when you were in high school. You went to college together. But now that you're in the working world, you're only friends because you've always been friends. You know there's an expiration date on that friendship. That's what's going on with Jimmy G and the 49ers. There's an expiration date on your starting quarterback position.
Yep.
The 49ers are using Jimmy G as long as they can still benefit from the friendship. But when they can no longer benefit, even minimally, it's out with Jimmy G. It's off with his head, so to speak. So Jimmy G should truly feel used, because the 49ers are just playing with Jimmy G. Big dog, yeah, Jimmy G will keep you around until Trey Lance is ready. You just keeping the bed warm. You just keeping the seat hot. I've used this example before. I went to an award show prior, and they had the seat warmers. You don't actually own a ticket to the play. You don't actually own a ticket to the award show. But you are sitting in the seat until the person who actually owns that ticket arrives, only for the sake of the cameras. Jimmy G is sitting in the starting quarterback position seat until Trey Lance actually arrives, only for the sake of the cameras. Jimmy G is simply a seat holder. He's not actually the starting quarterback for the 49ers.
Man, that's a beautiful take. You ain't never lied. Godly, I love working with you. Yeah, they ain't friends. They associates by association. I hate that when you just be clicking it with somebody. Like, every time I left the team, it was only like 2 or 3 dudes I really talked to. And everybody else, I was like, dog, I was like, y'all, boy. And as soon as you get traded or cut or somewhere else, peace. Happens at other networks as well. Acho, if you ever go somewhere else with your old celebrity butt, you ain't gonna talk to me no more. I know how you act. You're gonna be, Marcellus was just my associate by association. Don't treat me like that, Acho. I ain't a seat warmer, damn it. Let's talk about this situation. When they snaking Jimmy GQ, yeah, I'm gonna call it for what it is. Kyle Shanahan out there campaigning right now. We all have played the game before. Come on, y'all. When do rookies, when they ain't even put the pads on, get this much love from the head coach? Head coach be like, yeah, he looking good. We'll see. All right, he's grasping the concepts. We'll see. But he didn't say that. He said, man, they gravitating to him. He's the leader. Wink, wink. Vote for me, Kyle Shanahan. And I'm going to tell you who Kyle Shanahan is in terms of running for this campaign of now I can be the genius as a head coach that I was as an offensive coordinator. Because a lot got lost in translation, but y'all just assume he's the same head coach as he was an OC. Oh, contraire, mon frere. 49ers have finished last in the division twice. Third once in the 4 seasons with Kyle Shanahan. I wonder the one good year they had. Jimmy GQ. Okay, only made the playoffs once in those 4 seasons and been at the bottom half of the league in points per game 3 of the 4 seasons. I wonder the one season they weren't. Jimmy GQ healthy. Look, Jimmy GQ did this to himself to a large part because of his injuries, because of his lack of availability. I get all that, but damn, coach, you put a little too much mayonnaise on this sandwich, homie, because I don't like you buttering the bread of some guy that we don't even know if he's ready yet. Like, this just feels like Jordan Love 2.0, where everybody kept telling us, oh, they moved up because Jordan Love ready to play, ready to play. And now you hear sound bites, they like, he has a long way to go. Trey Lance, I'm rooting for you. Don't get this twisted. I'm not rooting for Kyle Shanahan to be lying to the whole entire group, but it sounds like he's going to prop you in this situation. So I hope Trey Lance works out, but if it don't, ooh-wee, because he's starting to sound like a PPP, if y'all know what I mean.
You know, Marcellus, I love being on this show where I can debate and go back and forth with you and Acho, because it allows me to use some of the things that I've learned along the way in class. And the one thing that you can do in an argument, you can make it personal. So I'm going to personalize this argument when I talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. I know you spent time with the Chargers. I know you are maybe a close friend or a confidant with Drew Brees. I'm going to use Drew Brees as the example because Drew Brees had to deal with this when he was in San Diego. They drafted Phillip Rivers, 4th overall. They basically were saying, hey, Drew Brees, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not going to work out. We're going to get the young guy in here and ready. But you know what Drew Brees did?
Yeah.
He played at a Pro Bowl level. You know what they had to do? They had to pause for a minute before they could hand it over to Phillip Rivers. So Jimmy Garoppolo has that opportunity if he controls it because, as you so eloquently made the case for myself, when we've seen the 49ers' success, who's been the starting quarterback? Jimmy Garoppolo. So this is actually an opportunity for it to be a win-win scenario for the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo is motivated to play at a high level because 31 other teams are looking at him and his performance, so he can parlay his play into another big payday. The 49ers can benefit because their starting quarterback, who has taken them to a Super Bowl, could take him to another Super Bowl. So that's why Jimmy Garoppolo can ignore all this other stuff that's being said and go on. And by the way, Kyle Shanahan is doing what I would like to see Matt LaFleur do. How about show a little confidence and say it with your chest that there's another quarterback in the building that can play? So I applaud both sides for this. Because Jimmy Garoppolo is going to ball out, and we know that Trey Lance is going to get the support of his coaches to eventually allow him to ball out as well.
Man, say it again, Bucky. We over here echoing right now. We in our own vacuum, our own echo chamber. Damn it, and I think we're correct on this topic right here. Because if you look at it simply, I just don't know rookies that get this much praise on air. Like in tank tops and shorts. Oh, the hair was blowing in his hair. The wind was blowing in his hair. Oh, he looked amazing. You should have seen him in the huddle, the way he put his mouthpiece in. Like, what the hell? Like, this ain't football, Kyle Shanahan. But, you know, I used to always struggle when they said you can't lose your job because of injury. And I was like, I don't know about that. Especially in San Francisco. Ask Alex Smith about that with Colin Kaepernick. And now you're going to see a situation, basically, Jimmy G, you lost your job, you lost your status because of injury. But then let's keep it uniform. Let's keep it objective. If that's the reason, okay. But we're going to do that for Raheem Mostert, 8 games. Tevin Coleman, 8 games. Deebo Samuel, 9 games. Brandon, 4 games. George Kittle, 8 games. Nick Bosa, 14 in his second year. Young boy. Solomon Thomas, 14. D4, 15. Richard Sherman, 11. Oh, everybody ain't losing their job because of injury. So my last point is this, because I know I'm hot on this and I got to get off of this. I ain't mad at you, 49ers and Kyle Shanahan, for you trying to go get it. Like, we want to get us a stable, available quarterback to take us back to the promised land. You can get it, but how are you going to get it? I was a person that grew up around a lot of people that wanted it, but how they went about it was the issue. And I used to sit there on my island, sit there silently, and sometimes I would say it and no one cared about what I was saying. I saw all those gangsters, and I saw all them drug dealers, 16 years old with a 5.0 Mustang rag, and I'm like, yeah, he got it. But how'd he get it? Kyle Shanahan, be careful how you get it, big dog, because it may come back to haunt you. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers is living it up in Hawaii, but we'll tell you if the Packers are making a mistake if they choose their GM over their quarterback. That's next. Speak for yourself.
Well, Luka, the Dawn, dropped 39 on them boys.
Oh, what?
Dropped 39 on your head. Y'all know what they say. Pride comes before the fall. So it's time for you to fall down and give me them 20 push-ups
Right there?
that you owe me. Right there
Right
in front of
there.
the desk so the whole world can see.
Man, you act like I'm scared.
You should be.
Man,
I'm counting.
Is gambling legal in California?
It's legal on
this
the show.
ain't honorable. All
It's
right, let me
legal
get
on this
20
show.
off.
Can I
Hold
get
on,
my
first
feet
of all,
up and
homie, you
watch?
know how I walk,
Can I?
homie. You know what I'm saying? Let me get that 20 off.
I need to see all of them.
All right, count with me, and I'm going to spell out what I want to count. Clip City, Chip City. Look at this. Hey, hey. All right. C,
1, 2,
I,
3,
P,
4,
C,
5,
I,
6,
T,
7,
Y, C,
9, watch
H,
out,
I,
12, 13, 14, I ain't showing off now. 15, 17, 18, 19,
1. You can't talk about my I got 20 plus in me, homeboy. Just like my squad,
You
dude.
give extra effort. If only the Clippers did, maybe you wouldn't have to do them push-ups, big dog.
Tired, boss.
So speaking of giving extra effort, Aaron Rodgers, he ain't doing none of that. Because he skipped OTAs. He out there chilling in Hawaii. Now, GM Brian Gutekunst praised the organization earlier this week, leading to further speculation of his issues with the Packers front office. Now a report says that President Mark Murphy has told the people in the organization that GM Gutekunst is staying, and quote, if that's the condition of Rodgers returning, then this is not happening. Bucky Brooks is back with us as Marcellus gets the sweat off of his
Sweat
brow.
and oxygen.
Please. Sal, I guess
Me first?
you got to recover first.
I mean, hello.
'cause you up
This is like a track interview right after they run. They be like, yeah, it was good. I ran
got an
home.
interview. So Marcellus Wiley, are the Packers making a mistake choosing their GM over Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, they are making a mistake if that's what they're thinking, that they have to have this binary decision, one or the other. Where I'm from, you know what I would do? I would put them in a room together and say, don't come out of here until you guys have full respect for each other. I didn't say like each other. I didn't say agree with each other. Just learn how to work together, because I was a San Diego Charger for 3 years. Once I left, still stayed in contact with the entire organization from the top down. And I watched this team go to a 14-2 record one year. Lose one and done in the playoffs, but still 14-2. A.J. Smith as the general manager. Marty Schottenheimer as the head coach. Rest in peace, Marty Schottenheimer. 14-2 and gets fired. You want to know why? Because of inner turmoil. To the point where they couldn't even talk to each other. Offices changing. When they saw each other in the hallway, they would go a different direction. You trying to tell me right now that I have to choose between you two? If I'm sitting there and I'm Mark Murphy, president of this organization, I'm going to make these guys that I fully respect each other. It's just that simple. So if you're going to get into a situation where you're going to pick one over the other, you have to pick Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers has showed the world why he's so great. Well, respect to you, GM, but not so certain about you. But I wouldn't even have to be forced to be in that position. As I catch my breath and it's getting worse, I would put them in a room and that door is not unlocking until y'all come out with some full respect.
Yo, it's a tough choice choosing between the GM and Aaron Rodgers. It's almost as tough a choice as Marcellus Wiley choosing between oxygen and his tape. he was talking, and then he was cheap, and then he had to, and that's what the Packers are doing right now, because they trying to choose like Sal was between that oxygen and giving that take. If you have to make a choice, you choose Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
So the Packers are making their mistake if they want to choose GM Gutekunst. Why? The GM never crosses the white lines. The GM never throws any passes, never makes any tackles. They may acquire people to do so, but they don't ever do it themselves. Let's look across sports. Jason Light, the GM for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he was there before Tom Brady showed up. But it was Tom Brady that dictated the winning, particularly the winning of the Super Bowl. Let's look in basketball. Pat Riley, the GM or acting GM, if you will, of the Miami Heat. Beast over the course of his career. But keep in mind, it was LeBron James who showed up and dictated the winning of those championships. As great as Pat Riley and his basketball acumen is, both as a coach and as a GM, it is always and forever going to be the players that actually have to win the games, because it is the players that have to make the decisions during what we refer to in the NFL as live bullets. So, yes, Brian Gutekunst may have done some good things organizing and orchestrating the roster, but it's Aaron Rodgers who really makes this team go.
Wow, that's so disrespectful, because here's what I know about the Green Bay Packers. And this is why I like that Mark Murphy came out and said, Brian Gutekunst is going to be around whether Aaron Rodgers likes it or not, because the general manager has done an outstanding job of putting this team together. Acho, when I look at this team is 26-6 over the past 2 years. They were 13-3 in 2019 when Aaron Rodgers had one of the worst seasons of his NFL career. They were also 13-3 when Aaron Rodgers had an MVP season. The reason why they've been able to maintain their success, whether Aaron Rodgers plays well or is not playing well, is because the team around Aaron Rodgers is solid. I hear people disparage the Packers for their approach. Oh, we haven't given them enough help. They haven't done enough. They haven't drafted a first-round receiver. But then I look at Davante Adams. Davante Adams is an all-pro receiver. We shouldn't talk about him and dismiss him as if he's a scrub. He was the guy that was taken in the second round and has exceeded draft expectations. Then they talked about, oh, they don't have enough weapons. Aaron Jones, in that year when Aaron Rodgers did not play at his best, Aaron Jones only put the ball in the paint, was one of the top leaders from scrimmage and with total touchdowns. And then I think about this offensive line that he's been surrounded by. Offensive line that was voted number one by many in the National Football League based on the talent that they have. And part of that is due to Brian Gutekunst thinking about the team and not number 12. And I know we like to romanticize the fact that team success is driven wholly by the play of the quarterback, but it's not. It's a team game. And this team will continue to thrive with or without Aaron Rodgers. And as soon as he understands that, and they can make amends, and this team can go forward and compete for titles like they're built to do so.
The fact of the matter is, though, Bucky Brooks, what you're saying just is not true. And it's not true because all of these all-pros, all of these Pro Bowl caliber players, all of these elite talents that you speak of for the Green Bay Packers, at least the vast majority of them, they are all tethered in some form or fashion to Aaron Rodgers. You remember playing tetherball as a kid? The ball attached to the rope, attached to the metal pole? You could hit it, and regardless of where it goes, it falls back, landing on that pole. Aaron Jones, regardless of what he does and how he succeeds on the Packers, his success goes back to Aaron Rodgers. Because of Aaron Rodgers, most teams are sitting in two high safeties. Davante Adams, regardless of how many catches and how many miraculous games that he has, his success is still tethered back to Aaron Rodgers. David Bakhtiari, one of the best, if not the best, left tackle in the game. Probably helps that Aaron Rodgers gets the ball out so quick. Corey Linsley, who was an all-pro center for Aaron Rodgers, well, he's an all-pro, and what's his main job description? Getting the ball to the one man, Aaron Rodgers. All of these all-pros are tethered to Aaron Rodgers. So their success is literally dependent upon that man, Aaron Rodgers, number 12. So, yeah, Gutekunst has done some all right things, but the reason Davante Adams is top 5, the reason that Aaron Jones is top 5 is because Aaron Rodgers is number 1.
Oh, okay. I get that, but I guess Aaron Rodgers was such a mercurial talent that we must have missed that when he was coming out of college, because there were 23 teams that passed him by before he was selected 24. It took him 3 years to get onto the field to be the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers because he was a mercurial talent.
He was behind a Hall of Famer.
We can talk about no, because Brett Favre wasn't playing at a high level. And if you go back and look at those preseason games when Aaron Rodgers was playing those first 2 years, he was only completing about 50% of his passes, and the jury was out on whether he was going to be the player that he eventually became. So we can talk about the Packers and their draft and develop program, but the draft and develop program that they subscribe to is one of the reasons why Aaron Rodgers is what he is. And so we can talk about playing tetherball, but if Aaron Rodgers isn't careful, they're going to play kickball and kick him out of Green Bay and move on with the other guy.
Hey, man, I just caught my breath. I'm back. All right, here we go. Makeup, oxygen, a little water, a little makeup. Let's go to war. That's a long-ass rope that tetherball must have. I don't know what high school you went to. Were you still playing tetherball in high school? Maybe junior high school? I don't know, but it's a long-ass rope. Because Zadarius Smith wasn't tethered to Aaron Rodgers when he makes the Pro Bowl. Jari Alexander wasn't tethered to Aaron Rodgers. The point being is,
Aaron Rodgers is the reason why a lot of this works, but also I got to give some respect to the GM and Brian Gutekunst, because look at this situation. Top 5 running back, top 5 wide receiver, respect. 7 Pro Bowlers that will be back on this roster, respect. And if you look at them, even on the defensive side, you got a 9th-ranked defense, top 10. Defensive passing yards in the passing game, 7th, top 10. Third down percentage, money down, top 10. And sacks, top 10, 10. So it's a balancing act. That's why I'm not trying to pick a side. I'm trying to say, y'all can work this out. Think about it. Let's make this about social issues, societal issues. When you got beef with somebody, it's real beef. But if you guys were able to really talk it out, it may not be the beef that you anticipated. So I just want to just get out of this conversation where they have to be on 2 sides, and then I'm forced to pick. If not, they could get into a room together. I've had many issues with many a person, and I don't like to fight, and I'm not going to fight. But we're going to talk this through. I ain't no punk, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is as well. So whatever is brewing in Aaron Rodgers, it's time for him to air it out right in the face of his general manager.
Yeah, he should air that in his face, but that's not something that he appears to be wanting to do. He likes to have everybody else carry his water as opposed to him step up to the table and say what is on. He had a TV appearance the other day where he could have aired his grievances and let the world know why he's not happy, but he chooses to play this word salad where he says a lot without saying anything. And so it's left to us to try and sort out what he means. But what I would tell you is this. When I look at the Green Bay Packers and I look at this setup, this is a really solid team. This is a team that has title aspirations. And we can talk about Aaron Rodgers last year playing at an MVP level, but we also can say that this team got to the NFC Championship game without him playing at an MVP level. And if you're the general manager, and Mark Murphy understands the value of a general manager is to have a long-term vision of the program that allows you to always be in the conversation as a title contender, well, the Packers have been that. Because in the past 2 years, they've gone to the NFC Championship game whether number 12 plays at an MVP level or not. And so I can understand that Aaron Rodgers wants security, but it ain't about security. It's about putting the team in a position to consistently compete for titles. And regardless of what he thinks, the leverage is still on the team. And so he either can play and come to terms that Brian Gutekunst is going to be the general manager, or he can walk out and retire and write a big check on the way out the door.
Bucky, I almost let you slide out this whole segment, sounding smooth, looking good, sounding educated. I'm going to let you slide out the segment. But then, Bucky, I heard you say that the Packers and Aaron Rodgers still got to an NFC Championship without Aaron Rodgers playing at an MVP level. I wanted to let you make it. We've had such a great show. I wanted to. But then I was thinking, who does Bucky Brooks ride for the hardest in all of the NFL? Oh, a man by the name of Dak Prescott. And what's so crazy, Bucky Brooks, is that Dak Prescott, he played at an MVP level 1 year. 1 year where he threw 23 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. His team was 13-3. They made the playoffs, didn't go to the championship. He threw for 3,600 yards. He played at an MVP level. How do we know this? Because he got an MVP vote. So, Bucky, when Aaron Rodgers throws for 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 4,000 yards, more touchdowns than Dak, more yards than Dak, same amount of interceptions as Dak. His team goes further than Dak. How dare you fix your lips to say that Aaron Rodgers didn't play at an MVP level? He may not have played out of this mind, but he still played out of this world. Coming up, Kevin Durant's block shot was one of many highlights for the Nets last night. We'll tell you if Brooklyn looks unstoppable. That's next. Speak for yourself. Don't do that to Rodgers. The Nets continue to roll, blowing out the Celtics last night to take a commanding 2-0 series lead. Now, Brooklyn's big three were led by Kevin Durant's 26 points and 4 block shots. The Nets also hit 17 from long range, including 7 from Joe Harris. Slick Rick the Buca is back with the boys, but still, do the Nets look unstoppable right now?
Who gonna stop him? Who gonna stop him?
Who gonna stop him?
I may be wrong on some takes. Well, actually, let me just make that singular, not plural. The Clippers may make me wrong on the first take ever on this show doing it with you, Acho, but boy, did I nail this Brooklyn Nets one from day one. Dude, what are you going to do to stop this team? The Celtics are out there trying to double team 3 players, like KD, Kyrie, James Harden, with only 5 players. Y'all do that math. How you gonna double team all 3 of them when you only got 5 on the court? It ain't gonna work. And you wanna know why? I know it's not gonna work, because I passed math, but also because Joe Harris is sitting there like, keep being preoccupied with the big 3. And Joe Harris is lighting it up. There's just not enough of a calculation that can stop all of these guys. Let me give it to you a different way. Because the ability to self-correct, not only between ball game, whistle to whistle, but also between games, time off, is what I see from this Brooklyn Nets team. So not only tremendous athletic ability, tremendous production, but also in harmony and sync and tremendous acumen. Are you kidding me? They shoot 23% from the 3-point line in game 1. You know what they come back in game 2 and say? Here's 44% for you. The ability to self-correct. Man, I don't see anybody in the East stopping this team. And unless the Clippers can lick their chops and come back in this series, I don't see a team in the West able to contend with this team. It's going to be scary for everybody going forward.
Yeah, they look unstoppable, Sel, but be real with your boy and be real with the world. It's easy to look unstoppable playing against lesser competition. Marcellus Wiley, let's go back to your national championship days. Sir, before you ever run at a state track meet, what do you run at?
You start city, and then you got regionals.
Yep.
Yeah.
You go district, you go regionals, you go state.
Yeah.
At a district track meet, a bunch of people, Slick Rick and Sel, look unstoppable. Bunch of them do in the district because that's against the lesser competition. Then you get to the regional competition, and the cats that looked unstoppable, some still look unstoppable, but a lot of them, it's like, they all right. But even if you look unstoppable through district and through regionals, then you got to go to state, Slick. And then you don't look so unstoppable anymore. But even if you do, still got to go to nationals at times. And when you get to nationals, big dog, that's when everything levels out. Of course, in the first round against the maligned Celtics, the Brooklyn Nets look unstoppable. Just like everybody that's good looks unstoppable in district. But then when you get to the semifinals and you got to face the, I don't know, Milwaukee Bucks, you look a little bit less. And then, Sel, you get to state and you got to face the Philadelphia 76ers. And if you just so happen to still somehow miraculously look unstoppable, what happens when you go to nationals and you see them LA Lakers? Ain't nobody gonna look unstoppable for long. It's easy to look unstoppable when you are facing lesser competition.
Okay.
Acho, so well said, well said. This would have been a mismatch. It was anticipated to be a mismatch going into the series. And then we don't have a Jaylen Brown, and now we don't have a Jason Tatum. So, Marcellus, you are right. They look unstoppable against the Celtics. Everybody else, I need to see it. Look, without their 2 best players, you're now looking at a lineup, and this was the lineup in the 3rd quarter after Jason Tatum got poked in the eye. You're looking at, I gotta look at my sheet to keep these names straight. Marcus Smart, Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, Tristan Thompson, and Aaron Nesmith. Now, if you would ever, on any planet, in any place, say, you know what? Those guys are going to compete against Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, and Joe Harris, the 3-point shooting contest winner. Somebody'd say, dude, what are you talking about? That's going to be a blowout. So the Nets did what they're supposed to do, and I give them credit for this. But Marcellus, let's be real. They're just doing what the Clippers are not doing. And you have staked your claim to 2 teams here, and you're now down to 1. And I would just suggest, as a friendly suggestion from someone who cares about your psychological well-being, don't plant that Nets flag so deep. Don't go so strong there. Don't go all in them, because while they have done what they should be doing to this point, to Acho's point, they still got the Bucks in front of them. They still got the Sixers in front of them. And those are 2 completely different animals from this wounded Boston Celtics team that they just happen to be beating up on.
Man, I don't think y'all understand where I'm from, homeboys. Let me tell you about this. I'm gonna get to that track example because Acho, he nailed it, but I'm gonna unhinge a little bit of that. Game one, they were down at halftime. Remember that? And everybody was like, oh my God, what's wrong with Brooklyn? Came out second half, 18-4. Get these boys off the court. Game two, everybody was like, oh, why was it a wake-up call? Why did it take you a half to get noticed and to wake up to this team? You know what they did? They were up 33. They are toying with this Boston Celtics team. Game one, everybody took 8 3-pointers. We're talking about the big three. Game two, they only took 12 total shots. They were just like, they're jogging. They're not even fourth quarter sitting there talking to the cheerleaders. Like, it's just a problem. They are playing with the competition. No matter what competition out the East, you're going to throw their weight. Let's talk about Acho's example in track. Because
I'm here. I'm all ears.
This is the beautiful thing about track. Why is track my favorite sport? Because it just eliminates all this conversation and conjecture. I was that kid who ran city. And everybody's like, ooh, Marcellus in the 400. I was like 10, 11 years old. Marcellus in the 400. Now, I knew I was going to be the fastest in the city because I was predicted to win nationals. So guess what? I'm going to smoke these boys from L.A. I got to look out for the cat from Akron or Baton Rouge or Austin or something. Everybody in L.A. know I'm coming. We go out there, and I ran like a 58, low 58. Now, in track, you get the gold medal, yay. And you ran your 58, yay. And I left the competition. And then somebody come up to me while I'm eating my tuna fish sandwich talking about, man, I heard another cat out there ran fast like you. And you know what I said? I don't care. He wasn't on the track that day. Everybody on that track I had to look back to see. Now, let me tell you why that matters. Because in track and field, you can see objectively how good you are. Well, in basketball, it's a little more difficult, but objectively, I think we can see how good they are. The Nets are the only team in the league with 3 players that average over 24 points a game. That's running 58 in city and knowing you're still going to win nationals like I did. Okay, the Nets finished with the best field goal percentage this season. That's winning city and not being scared about nationals like Acho. Acho always tell on himself, oh, Marcellus, you won city, but look out at nationals. Give a damn. Went to nationals, still put a gold around my neck. And one part you left out, Acho.
What happened?
We had internationals. We had to go to Eugene, Oregon. And all of a sudden, I'm talking to a kid. I just think the kid from Ohio. Kid talking about he from Germany. I said, hey, man, what the hell? Still smoked his butt, too. Point being, the Nets are going to line them up and mow them down. I don't see anybody in the East contending with them.
So you Jesse Owens now. Out here just beating Germans.
No, I did. I got fat. I couldn't do any more push-ups, ate Cheetos, became a football player. Hey, man. Coming up are Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to blame for the Clippers' playoff failures. Hit your bags, boy. We'll answer that. Why are you smiling so much? Next. Speak for yourself.
You cheated on those last ones.
You did. I did a little bit. This is a tough one. Bear with me. My Clippers are down 0-2 against the Mavericks after dropping another one last night. DJ Khaled. Yep, this is the second go-around in the playoffs for the Paul George, Kawhi Leonard duo. And we all remember last year when they were bounced in the second round after having a 3-1 series lead. Way to twist the knife. So, Acho, are Kawhi and PG, don't look at me like that, to blame for my Clippers' playoff failures?
Disregard the 2 letters of PG. Kawhi Leonard is to blame. And Kawhi Leonard is to blame because your best players have to be your biggest leaders. We know that. We've always known that in sports from a peewee level. Your best players have to be your greatest leaders. Tom Brady, best player, greatest leader. LeBron James, best player, greatest leader. In any team sport, your best player, they have to be your greatest leader, and we don't see that from Kawhi Leonard. When Kawhi Leonard won his finals MVP with the Spurs, he had Tim Duncan, he had Parker, he had Manu. He could just show up and play defense. He won MVP averaging 13 points, if I'm not mistaken, in the playoffs. Kawhi Leonard, he wins MVP with the Raptors. But that was Kyle Lowry's team. Kyle Lowry there before, Kyle Lowry thereafter. That was Kyle Lowry's team. Kawhi Leonard just got to show up. Well, now, Kawhi, we need you to show up and we need you to speak and we need you to lead, not just by example, but vocally as well. And he's shown that he is incapable of doing that. That's no knock on Kawhi Leonard's entirety of his game, but it's a knock on his game at this very present moment. Let's juxtapose that to a true leader in LeBron James. KCP, 1 for 11, shooting 3 right now. KCP is supposed to be a 3-point shooter. After LeBron passes him the ball and he passes, he looks at KCP and says, hey, I pass you the ball to shoot. Shoot the ball. Now, you might be thinking, dang, LeBron, don't disrespect another grown man like that. But what did KCP respond after the game on his own personal social media handles? He says, brother for life, posting a screenshot of that very same picture because that is the epitome of leadership. Leadership is not just LeBron leading by example with his actions, but also leading vocally when he needs to as well. Who is at fault for the Clippers' demise? It's Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi is the best player. So, Kawhi, you also got to be the best leader, and he's not being a leader at all right now.
Don't take this personally that you had such a great, serious take, and I'm over here just scrambling for any note to give me some damn hope, and I ain't found it yet. I'm on my 13th page of no hope notes. I'm mad at you.
What happened?
You've exposed our issue. And look, we say a lot of stuff off mic that we got to make sure that we echo on mic because sometimes the profound things happen when we're not on air. And you nailed another profound thing when you were talking about it. The fact that Kawhi Leonard can't grab somebody like LeBron does is really starting to handicap us. Look, his personality is his personality. And then when you get on the field of play or on the court, you got to take on a persona, even if it's not your personality, right? Being real about that. A lot of times I see fans come up to athletes and say, wow, you're so down to earth, or wow, you're different than I thought you were. It's because that's a persona that you have bought into. Really, my personality, I'm a big goofy dude. You see me in public, I'm a clown and I'm gonna buy you a drink. We just gonna chop it up. You be like, I hate you. I'm like, I love you too. Like, we gonna have fun. I ain't mad at you. But get me on a football field, I take on a different persona.
Yeah.
Get you on a basketball court, Kawhi, I know you got a different personality, but we need to own this leadership role. I will push back and say that the greatest player on your team, best player on your team, doesn't have to be your best leader. Derek Jeter wasn't the best on the Yankees for a lot of those years. Derek Jeter was their leader, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it doesn't always have to go that way. Here's the problem. Kawhi's not trying to do that. Like, he's just like lead by example. And we've all played with guys like that. Like Walter Jones, I can imagine being a lead by example guy because he didn't say jack when we played. Like, he was just killing you. But there is also a guy who has the cheerleader pom-poms and the rah-rah and gonna get you going. He gonna put the gas in the ride. We're gonna have to go get it. Now, on our team, it's not Paul George necessarily giving you the purest octane and gas. It's like Patrick Beverley.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
And that's too far.
Yes, let's go there.
Yeah, buddy.
Sorry, y'all gonna have to wait with us.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
For some people watching this show like, Acho, you sound crazy. It's not Kawhi's fault. Y'all have to understand. I was a great leader in college, but I was also an All-American by some ballots and All-Conference by every ballot. In the NFL, your boy wasn't leading because I was just trying to stay on the roster.
Hey.
I wasn't good enough to be a leader.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverley is not good enough to be the leader. He may be capable by leadership abilities, but he's not capable by talent.
Championship leadership.
Exactly.
When you got LeBron's out there.
I was capable by leadership ability in life, but by talent in the NFL, I was not capable. Rondo could be the leader. Rondo's not getting enough minutes to be the leader of that team. Ibaka, he's proven to be a leader in other places, but Ibaka's not playing enough minutes to be the leader of that team. It has to be at least one of your top 2 or 3 players. Like you said, It ain't got to be Kawhi. But if it's not Kawhi, it got to be PG. It's got to be one of them two. For the Lakers, it ain't got to be LeBron. But if it ain't LeBron, it got to be AD.
Yeah.
When he was in the Heat, it didn't have to be Bron, but it had to be D-Wade, maybe Chris Bosh. It doesn't have to be Tom Brady, but it got to be Gronkowski. It got to be AB. It got to be Mike Evans. It has to be somebody that is elite. You can't be elite of a talent and not an elite leader, or an elite leader and not an elite talent. There is a dichotomy there that will not lead to success.
Man, you broke that down with me, and let's keep it going. One more layer to this. This is why I really had an issue with Kyle Shanahan talking about a rookie after 4 practices getting all that love, because that's not how the ecosystem works in professional sports. Like, we don't know if he's a baller, so no, he ain't our leader. No, he's not someone we're gravitating to. Maybe he told a good joke and you saw us all around him laughing, but he ain't leading us until we know he can go out there and go get it with his muscles. So I hate when I hear people go out there and give that undue praise. You're right. The dynamic of any team is like, look, we're going to elect one of our best players to be a leader. It could be somebody else who has a great personality and vocal who can be up there as well. But there are limitations, because you can't just go rah, 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 and then I watch you and you a bum. You a scrub.
Let's pause there.
You ain't taking me nowhere, bro.
Because here's the real issue at hand, and you can go figurative more than anything. You can't ever afford to see your leader die. Because if your leader dies, you all die.
We gone.
I'm going to start TV, but I'm going to go to real life. Remember the Black Panther?
Yeah.
One of the most kind of depressing scenes of the movie was when the late Chadwick Boseman in the movie loses to the antagonist, Chadwick being the protagonist of Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger. kills Black Panther, at least to us. For the first time watching the movie, you think he dies. Everybody's looking like, uh-oh. If our leader just died, what that mean for us?
Yeah,
I'm playing Oklahoma State my junior year in college. We have a cornerback, Aaron Williams, the best cornerback on our team, one of the best in the nation.
Aaron Williams, 31?
He was number 4 in college.
Oh, man, forget all that.
A.J. Williams,
Keep going.
he's going up against Justin Blackman. It's like the second series of the game. It's our best versus their best. AJ, ain't nobody gonna beat A.J. Williams. Like, he was the best cornerback, like, in the state. And he was that dude for us. Gus Post going the first round as a junior. Man, Brandon Whedon drops back, 80-yard bomb in our home stadium to Justin Blackman, touchdown. You can look it up on film. I'm looking like, and as I'm jogging, watching Justin Blackman jogging to the end zone, I say to myself, if our best can't do it, can't nobody do it. And it comes down to this right now with the Clippers. If Kawhi Leonard and PG aren't leading and they looking, and the rest of the Clippers like, if our best can't hold them, can't nobody hold them.
Damn.
Coming up, Kyrie Irving had a lot to say about his upcoming return to Boston for Game 3. We got a lot to say about that, too. That's next. Speak for yourself.
Justin Blackman in college, top 10 ever.
The Nets were in cruise control last night with a blowout win against the Celtics. Now star guard Kyrie Irving scored 15 points, and now the series is moving to Boston for Game 3. Kyrie spent 2 seasons as a Celtic before leaving for Brooklyn. He was asked about his upcoming return and had some interesting comments. Take a listen.
Hopefully we could just keep it strictly basketball. There's no belligerence or any racism going on, subtle racism and people yelling from the crowd. But even if it is, it's part of the nature of the game, and we're just going to focus on what we can control.
Just wants to keep it basketball. Stel, what's your reaction to Kyrie's comments returning to Boston?
Kyrie talking, insert agenda. Conversation started. Like, what's my issue with this or my reaction? I don't really have an issue. I just have a notice. And what I notice is Kyrie is a tremendous hurdler. A lot of people don't understand how you even become a hurdler. Probably because you can't run the open races. So then you're like, well, I'm fast, but not fast enough. I'm 4th place or worse. So then they say, if you run the hurdles, you might be something, because most of those guys are slower than the open runners, right? Kyrie puts hurdles in his own path all the time. But he's such a proficient basketball player and a great enough person where he could compartmentalize and get over those hurdles at a faster pace than most of us could. Because most people like having this conversation and then insert that into it would trip over that hurdle. Most people would be preoccupied with that. Most people, their game would suffer. Not Kyrie. He just keeps perfect form over all the issues he's dealing with. But what I did notice as well was subtle racism. That's sadly funny to me. It's almost like we're looking for misdemeanor racism. Like, subtle racism. My dad is just sitting there, I got to talk to my father after this show. And my dad is like, I'm going to tell you about some felonious racism that you ain't got to go look for. And everybody want to call microaggressions and things of that nature. Kyrie, it wasn't left for interpretation, the racism that we've dealt with in this country. But I also haven't played in front of 18,000 screaming fans and mob mentality and them yelling stuff. But I have stayed months on months in training in Boston and didn't have one issue at all. All that says to me that Kyrie, he's just a different dude, man. And I'm going to respect that he's different. I ain't going to say nothing else about it except, damn, you be putting a lot of hurdles in your way.
Yeah, honestly, I'm with you on this one, big dog. Like, Kyrie's just interesting.
Yeah.
Like, Kyrie, you live in a world where certain things exist and he's still perplexed by the existence of it. Like, black people call each other the N-word in sporting events. And Kyrie was so mystified by that he had to take a game off. And in sporting events, sports fans, particularly the opposing fans, are typically belligerent. It happens. They say things. Now, I'm not going to discredit Kyrie Irving's experience. I'm not going to discredit anything that may have occurred to him, with him in Boston. But I'm just like, Kyrie, bruh, this ain't the bubble. Like, the fans are present now, and people will be saying things. So I don't really have some sort of crazy reaction to it as much as, like, it's a very interesting time to say this. You lived in Boston, you played in Boston, you were there for years, so you clearly would have heard these things probably said to the opposing team.
Yeah.
But now you are the opposing team, and now you're putting fans and the world on alert, like, hey, hopefully these Boston fans who you would have heard speak in this manner to opposing teams, but now you're going to speak up against it. I just find it very odd and curious and interesting, but Kyrie Irving is incredibly interesting, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, man, there's a couple of kernels of truth in there, but it's preoccupation preoccupation with inserting this into this conversation spoke the loudest. I'll give you 2 Wiley-isms, Kyrie. 1, don't add it up. In life, we always want to add up this, what happened last week, what happened this week, what's going to happen next. Don't add them up. And the other one, count those with you, not against you. You'll have a more peaceful existence. Coming up, a Steelers defender is coming to Big Ben's defense. We'll tell you if the quarterback's struggles have been blown out of proportion. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Ben Roethlisberger is set to enter his 18th season as a Steelers quarterback, but he had a rocky end to last season, including 4 picks in their wild card loss. His teammate Cam Hayward is over the criticism of his quarterback, saying, quote, "This guy's a proven winner, but yet we're ready to discount him. I think we're just blowing it out of proportion." So, Acho, have Big Ben's struggles been blown out of proportion?
Not at all. Big Ben's struggles are in proportion with his greatness. We talk about it in the same proportionality. The only reason we talk about Big Ben's struggles is because he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. If Big Ben was sorry, we wouldn't talk about Big Ben struggling because he'd be sorry, so we would just expect him to struggle. Drew Lock been sorry. We don't talk about it very much because he's Drew Lock. If Aaron Rodgers was not a first ballot Hall of Famer, we would not care that he was not reporting to camp. He would just be some dude on vacation in Hawaii like I was last week. Ain't nobody talking about that. So we talk about the greats because they are great. So we talk about his struggles in the same proportion that we talk about his greatness. When I look at it, you can't start 11-0, finish 12-4, and expect us not to talk about it. You can't contemplate retirement seemingly every offseason and expect us not to talk about it. You can't be a first ballot Hall of Famer who goes to and wins a Super Bowl in the first 3 years of his career as a starter and yet not win a playoff game since 2016 and expect us not to talk about it. We talk about how great you are, Ben Roethlisberger, so in the same sentence and in the same breath, we will talk about your current struggles as well.
Yeah, man. I think it is a little out of proportion, but I want to be careful about that because I think I'm closer to you. Look, if you think that Ben Roethlisberger is dirt, then that's out of proportion. But if you think he's still big, bad Big Ben, then that's out of proportion as well. It's just weird to see Ben Roethlisberger in this position because this may be a case. And they always try to predict it. Tom Brady, you may hang on too long, and then what's going to happen? Since 2014, you're going to fall off a cliff. Yeah, Max Kellerman, my boy. That ain't happening. But the point is, he keeps saying that, and yeah, it ain't happening. Drew Brees, kind of happened. Ben Roethlisberger, you got to squint, because I don't know any sorry-ass 12-game winners. Like, say what you want about Big Ben. You won 12 games, you ain't that damn sorry. And then now people say he's the worst quarterback in the division. Hey, Joe Burrow, finish a season first before I can anoint you. So I think right now what's happening is teammates are caping for him because they think that it's a negative connotation to his name right now and narrative. But that reminds me of my wife, who she's a little more reluctant to me to give things away. Like, she want to hold on to the shoes she ain't worn in 4 years. I'm like, baby, get those away. We're going to Goodwill. So finally, tug of war, they in the box, in the garage. We're going to take them out. All of a sudden, she got an outfit. She running into that box talking about, oh, no, I'm going to wear those. You know what that reminds me of? This situation. They were ready to dispose of Big Ben. Retire. Oh, you ain't in shape. Oh, go away. But all of a sudden, since everybody talking trash, now it's, no, we good with Big Ben. Put him on. You didn't want that. You didn't want that last year, 2 years, 3 years ago. So it's interesting how we're trying to cape for something we kind of were going to dispose of. Coming up, Tom Brady's at it again. Speaking of Tom Brady on social media, this dude is special on social. We'll tell you if we like him trolling the Aaron Rodgers Packers drama. That's next.
Tom Brady will team up with Phil Mickelson again at a charity golf event in July to take on Aaron Rodgers and Bryson, the Champ.
Say it. Oh, you don't know.
No, first off, I'm focused on Tom Brady, who took the opportunity to troll the ongoing drama in Green Bay. With the now infamous Brooks Koepka meme while mentioning the Packers kicking a field goal in last year's NFC Championship. So, Marcellus, what? Besides trolling me and my pronunciation, do you like Tom Brady trolling the Aaron Rodgers drama?
I do like it. I do. You hear a little anxiety, a little apprehension because they tell you in life don't punch down, and everything that Tom Brady jokes about and everybody he jokes about is kind of punching down. Like, Tom Brady, he got 7 football rings. He's like, and taking a shot at Aaron Rodgers, and everybody know Aaron Rodgers only got 1. Got more than me, but he only got 1. So what the hell? Like, but I know they cool because Aaron Rodgers got to be cool with Tom Brady. He does a TB12 program, etc. But That's a little punch down, but not major because he ain't giving full force. But it is funny and it's lighthearted.
I think it's one of those things, Sal, where you can joke with the people you cool with.
Okay.
Like, if Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady weren't cool, I think Aaron Rodgers would take a little bit of offense to that. But Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, they boys. So I think Aaron Rodgers is like, you know what, I'll take that jab. But here's my thing. Tom Brady, you already beat him in the game. And that game was against you,
That's what
in
I'm
which
saying.
it was 3rd and 7. And I thought it was 4th and 8. But anyway, in which it was 4th and 7 and they choose to kick a field goal. It's almost like, okay, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, he ain't even getting no love from Green Bay, and now you're going to kill him on social media,
That's
too.
so beautiful.
It seemed a little over the line.
Yeah. Boy, if you went on The Bachelor and stumbled and fumbled, boy, I would have lit you up on social, but you didn't. So, but we cool like that. But the point is, anything to spice up these celebrity pro-ams, man, they are horrible. You remember the one last year in the rain and the beginning of the pandemic? And
we got some good memes out of it.
Yeah,
like
but
the high-fiving, we couldn't hug because of COVID.
You just telling on yourself. I know you don't like golf. And you over there talking, we got good memes. I'm trying to watch the damn golf, and I'm watching this. It's no spice to it. As Kwame Brown said, man, y'all over here talking sports. I'm talking life. You're lucky Tom Brady ain't talking both, because it could be a problem. That's it for us. Fox Bet Live. Next.